Peppery. Yeah, so ready? Yeah, so the man said greetings in the mighty name of his imperial majesty.
All right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? I'm back. I'm gonna get back in the Holy Megillah right now. This is chapter 41 out of the New Testament, the Holy Godspell. Uh, and like I said, in the New Testament of the Holy Megillah, mostly all the sermons and all the dealings with Yahshua have Miriam by his side. She is called the Lady Christ, Mary the Magdalene, or Mary of Magdalene. Okay, so she is the Lady Christ. Throwing this one up here because we just jumped out of the Gospel of the Holy 12. This book is not the Gospel of the Holy 12. I don't want to get anybody confused. The last book I posted before this video was of the Gospel of the Holy 12 and the origins on that. And that's a different work than this one. And even this one has different stories than what you find. They slightly differ than in the Gospel of the Holy 12 and the Holy Megillah too. So that's why I'm throwing this one up here so you guys can see the difference. In this is about Peter, and in this one, Peter does not walk on water. He is not a disciple, and he kind of like gets real disrespectful. And it reminded me of the King James version when we have Jesus' words in there saying, "Get behind me, Satan," to Peter. So keep that in mind um, as you hear this story, because you know we don't have. I don't think the King James really goes into detail of why he said that to Peter, but because Peter denies him 3 times, remember? So this is a denial of Peter, basically here recorded in the Holy Megillah. All right, and he did not walk on water, but John the Baptist did, and so did Miriam. So stay tuned, keep watching, because you're gonna really like this. All right, that night the 50 and the 12 and the 7 with John, Yahshua, and Miriam shared one encampment. Behold, Peter the Ebonite entered the encampment in the late evening, many hours after the baptism of the Lord and the Lady. Peter began demanding that he be told what had occurred this day in his absence, for prior to being gone this one day, Peter had stayed in the encampment of John the Baptist for 1 week. During the time of the great miracle of the walking on the water, Peter had been gone to seek food supplies. For lo, the 50 and John had been fasting, but Peter quit the fast and went to find fish. For though Peter proclaimed himself a vegetarian, he yet ate fish and greatly desired to devour some. Now, having returned and noticed the addition of 21 persons, the Lord and his 12 plus the lady and her 7, those were their disciples, Peter pondered the large group that had joined the encampment of John. With great indignation, Peter snorted in scorn when he noticed that the tents of the newly arrived unmarried women were not separated from the tents of the newly arrived men. Peter believed this to be unholy. In the late night, while most slept, Peter crept into the region of the encampment occupied by the tents of the newcomers. He placed his ear to the side of each tent, listening for the sounds of illicit fornication. When he placed his ear to the tent of the Lord and Lady, behold, Peter heard the sounds of sexual embrace. Within himself, Peter said, "Tomorrow I will expose their shame to the entire encampment and declare myself the new leader, for I am the Yacob, the successor to the office of the true prophet, and the second is always greater than the first." In the morning, Peter called a meeting on the entire encampment and declared, "I arrived late last night and was told that a miracle had occurred. I was told that the assembly witnessed John and also the newcomers, Yahshua and Miriam, walk upon water. But the morning light revealed a dark secret: unmarried men and women sleeping too near one another. And in more than one bed, I am certain that illicit fornication occurred. Behold, when I placed my ear to the tent of Yahshua and Miriam, who are unwed, I heard the sounds of lovemaking, illegal and shameful for the unmarried. And my teacher of 1 week, John the Baptizer, is guilty of polluting this sacred pool with the flesh of a woman who is a fornicator and who claims the right of women to the priesthood. This is why we ain't heard nothing about Miriam, because she was a woman priest. Wherefore I declare myself the successor of Yahshua and John. For it had been revealed to me in a dream that I will be the successor of both John the Baptist and Yahshua the Messiah. But I will take the teachings not to the Gentiles, neither to the Nasareans, but to the Aaronites, according to my doctrine of the true prophet. According to my doctrine of true prophet, each prophet is succeeded by a greater prophet who is called Yacob, which means the successor. I acknowledge that Yeshua was the Christ of God and that I am his successor. I acknowledge that John was a prophet and I am his successor. Behold, through Yeshua and John, though Yeshua and John have both fallen, I will now raise them from the dead. But before I pronounce them clean to serve me in my ministry, I must be given the secret of walking on water. For as their Yacob, I am entitled to all they possess, even their magic. The Lord and the lady walked from the camp out into the water of the baptismal pool, stopping at the center atop the water. Look at this number, 33. See that? These texts, even the Bible does it. The numbers match up with sometimes with what it's saying. All right, but I also wanted to stop for a quick second and see, listen to what Yahshua is saying in these stories, because he's giving keys, regardless of it, whatever's happening in the story, their replies, it's all alchemical, it's all mystical, and you got to pay attention. Okay, so the Lord and the lady walked from the camp out into the water of the baptismal pool, stopping in the center atop the water. And Yahshua said to Peter, "Behold the secret." Yahshua then embraced Miriam. So he's telling him to watch the secret. This is what the secret is. The divine masculine embraced the divine feminine and kissed her on the forehead and both cheeks with the Nasarean kiss of peace. Peter then stepped onto the water but fell into it. Lo, Peter was unable to walk upon the water. So he stepped into it but fell into it. So in this story, he never walked a step on it. And then Miriam spoke to him and she said, listen to what she said, because she said exactly what they did. They were the perfect example of what we need to do in this lifetime. She said, when you embrace the divine feminine within and find her throne next to the throne of the divine masculine and stand in the place of balance that is in the center and the circumference, then and only then will you walk on water in the manner of the Lord and the Lady and the Baptizer. Even so, we can teach you another way to walk on water, by that way being by the help of your friends in the way of Christ. But even the manner of walking on water is yet beyond your attainment. For behold, until you become an empty wine bag, you cannot receive new wine. Now you are full of opinions about this and that, some correct and some false. How can you be the successor of that which is beyond you on the ladder of consciousness? Peter said to Miriam, woman, be silent. When you discourse as though you had the authority of a man, you disgrace yourself. Behold, every time you speak on spiritual matters, you take away the opportunity of a man to discourse. This is unseemly, and you are a disgrace. Then Peter addressed the Lord, send this woman and the other women away, for lo, it is unseemly for holy men to travel with unmarried women. You have made her no better than a harlot. So Peter calls Miriam a harlot. She even wears the oil of harlots, for behold, she smells of lavender. Yeshua replied to Peter, Miriam of Magdala is the dove of Jalah, my Janah, my eternal wife. She is my eternal lover. Miriam and I were wedded long before this world came into being. Behold, Miriam and I are forever wed, without a pause, even when we come into a new world. For lo, why would a happy couple like us let anything harm our pre-existing, never to be severed marriage vows? Taking a new incarnation does not sever our marriage vows, even if we are unusual in that marriage agreement. Nevertheless, we plan to be wed in human manner at Canaan. Behold, Yacob means heel catcher. It not only can be interpreted as successor, but also as follower. Until you first follow, you cannot be the successor, for only one who walks the way can know the way, and only the one who knows the way can teach the way, and only that one is trusted with the keys to the ascending heavens. Behold, when you hear the rhythm of the love making of the Lord and the lady and recognize it as your own heartbeat, yea, and as the heartbeat of the great dance, then you will be a true prophet. And if that happens in this lifetime, know this: how great a prophet you are compared to other prophets is not based on who you follow, but on who you are. Yea, by your own thoughts, words, and deeds, you rise or fall on the ladder of consciousness, not by claiming to be the successor of someone who you have neither known nor followed. Nevertheless, Peter, I confess that I did not, place my awareness on the outside of our tent when I embraced Miriam. Indeed, I was so focused on Miriam's sweet vibration that I paid little attention to your inharmonious vibration as it crept up to our tent and wiggled in the outer darkness. For when I meditate in this way with Miriam, I place my attentions on her. Yea, when I embrace my wife, she has my undivided attention. Lo, turn over a stone, and there you will see our embrace. Look up at the stars, and there we make love. Split a log, and there is I am emanating the masculine and feminine principles that we are. Woe to the world if the Lord and Lady cease our eternal embrace, for then would end the great dance that gives birth to the all. Then Yahshua, as he often did, unshamedly before others, kissed Miriam on the lips. Peter shouted to the assembled encampment, any of you who choose to follow me and walk out of this congregation of ungodliness, do so now. And then he's saying, for God appoints him. But I'm going to stop here because it's already too long. All right, guys. Now, isn't that something? And you got to listen to their words again. Once you get through with the shock and awe about what they're talking about, like that they're talking about having sex and marriage and eternal now and all that, listen to what he said, because when he said, look up, split a log, there is I am emanating the masculine and feminine principles that we are. That's who the Lord and the Lady are. They're emanations of the first mother and first father that are embraced, and that's how the world exists, because of their embrace, the embrace of the masculine and the feminine. And Yahshua and Miriam were emanations of them, called the first daughter and the first son, the only begottens of them that are here inside with us as the mother and father inside the mother ovum, is what they say in the beginning of the Megillah. I really hope you guys get a chance to find this book, because it's got a lot of information and it's a beautiful story. All right. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next.